Well, happy Super Bowl Eve to everyone out there. Tonight I'd like to talk about the Rockman Sustainor compression, the effects loop, and equalization. One of the things I want to point out with the Rockman Sustainor is that the effects loop is post-compression and it's pre-distortion. What that does is it allows us to regain our dynamics coming out of the compression by the use of equalizers and then push the distortion circuit. First of all, I'd like to point out with the Rockman Sustainor effects send, you need a mono Y adapter. Not a stereo Y adapter, but a mono Y adapter. Why is that? Because there's only one effects send. You want to take one side of the Y adapter and you want to go into your first equalizer. Your first equalizer is going to be used for clean 1 and clean 2. You want to take your second send out of your Y adapter and you want to go into your second equalizer, which is for your edge and distortion. So on the back of the Rockman Sustainor, you'll take the output of your first equalizer and you will go into the all return. You will take the output of the second equalizer and you'll go into the edge return. Actually, edge distortion return. One thing I want to point out that's very useful is because you're using those switchable returns, you do not need to use the foot switch controls on your equalizer 1 or equalizer 2. The Sustainor will choose what equalizer it wants to use depending on what mode you're in. If you're in clean 1 or clean 2, it's going to automatically choose your all return. If you're in edge or distortion, it's going to automatically choose the second return, which is your edge distortion return. The last equalizer comes off the master out of the Sustainor. The last equalizer, what I call the conditioning equalizer, conditions everything in the Sustainor, including the loop EQs and all of the bells and whistles. It's coming off the master output of the Sustainor. Then I feed that to a Rockman Smart Gate through a remote loop, and then I go to my Rockman Stereo Chorus delay. One of the things I want to point out is that the sweet spot for the level on all of my Rockman equalizers seems to be just under 10. No matter where the equalizer is set, that just seems to be the sweet spot. As far as my EQ curves, I don't really like to get into that too much because everybody's ears are differently and everybody's dynamics are different, depending on whether you have fat fingers, skinny fingers, the type of pick you're using, the interplay between the human body and the guitar creates all kinds of different dynamics. With the EQ curves, I can tell you that I do roll off a lot of high end in my clean equalizer. And then I kind of shift things around in my second equalizer, but again, to my ears and what sounds good to me. I hope this clarifies exactly how these equalizers are set up in a Rockman Sustainor. Please feel free to ask more questions in the comments, and have a good night.